Dino Safari is not a bad Mickey Mouse Funhouse episode, but I don't think it needed to be a double feature. This is the 16th episode of the second season, and it takes up the two segments for the full episode. And I feel like a lot of it was very repetitive, and they could have got the message much quicker. And also the weasels, I just didn't like the weasels in this, but I have to admit I'm not the biggest fan of the weasels. But credit where it's due, the weasels are in a different location, so it does feel a little different, which is, I guess, refreshing. The characters go off to the prehistoric world, and Daisy has agreed to babysit or dino sit some dinosaur eggs, and the design of the eggs is beautiful. Well, the different designs are beautiful. They're brightly coloured, they've got really great patterns on them. Visually it's really engaging. And Daisy turns her back one too many times and the eggs kind of wander off, which sounds impossible, but actually it works quite well. And because she didn't take her responsibility seriously, and she was more interested in what was going on elsewhere, obviously the eggs got into a bit of bother, and the gang all rally around very nicely to help her try and find them. And we have this sequence of them running everywhere, trying to get to them, which is interesting enough, and all of that I think would have been enough to carry the narrative. But then the weasels came into it, and I just thought, why are you there? And yes, as I said, it is quite refreshing to have them in a different environment, somewhere, away from Sunny Gulch, somewhere we don't normally see. But I also don't feel like it was that necessary or even that interesting. And I think it would have been better without them, and if it had just focused on Daisy and the aspect that focused on, responsibility and also asking for help. The episode does a great job, both at the very beginning, before they go to the prehistoric world, and also while they're there, of making it clear that you need to take your responsibilities seriously, but there's no shame in asking for help. Because sometimes we all need help with our responsibilities. And I love that. I love that it's saying, okay, you need to take your responsibilities seriously, but don't worry, you're not alone. And I love that. I think it did a really great job. And all of that was absolutely fine, but I feel like putting the weasels in there meant there was too much going on. And it just wasn't necessary. But as I said, I'm not really a fan of the weasels, so I'm aware that, had I loved the characters, um, let's say, I don't know, let's say it'd been Cuckoo who probably would have felt out of place in this episode, but I would have enjoyed it. With the weasels, I am not interested. So it's not a bad episode. It's fun, it's creative. The design of the dinosaurs really fun, really appealing, but the narrative seems to be a little repetitive, and there are a lot of things in this that we could have lost, and we could have kept it as just a half an episode or a one segment. And I personally think that would have worked a little better. So it's not perfect for me. There's room for improvement. But at the same time, the messages are clear. Daisy's sparkly bow, absolutely loved it. The animation quality is stunning. But definitely there are things that I personally would have liked to have seen done a little differently.